our presentation of colors. If you'd please rise for the presentation of colors presented by the oldest ROTC unit in the nation, our Riverside Poly ROTC.
Left, right. Keep. Left, face. Set. Colors.
Put your right hand over your heart, hats and hoods off. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You may be seated.
Colors. Left, face. Forward, march. Left, 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 right. Left, 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 right.
Thank you very much. You can be seated. Jim, it's not on. Check, check. Check, check. There we go. All right. Good evening, everybody. I think I just said, there we go. Good evening, everybody. My name is Daryl Hanson, and I proudly serve as the principal here at Riverside Poly High School. I want to start by tonight first welcoming you to really is a great event, an event that we're very proud of and really excited about every year. Some quick introductions. I want to introduce my administration team. You guys can come out. Laura Nelson, Shelly Hemerston, Jim Vaughn, and Frank Deanda. What do they do? All the work I don't want to. Okay? So I also have a couple guests I'd like to introduce. First, from the Riverside Unified School District office, Executive Director Sam Preachy. Where's Sam? There is Sam. Welcome. And from our Board of Education, former Poly Principal and North Principal, Mr. Dale Kinnear. Finally, first, our members that helped us select this group. Judge Bailey, thank you for coming. He's on our selection committee. Rusty Bailey, Greg Kuhn I saw here, Kristen Kuhn, Jim Vaughn's on our committee, and then Del Roberts is on our committee. I almost forgot you.
Don't forget Knatzar.
Oh, and Rochelle. Where's Rochelle? Rochelle Knatzar on the committee. And a special thank you to some past inductees. Again, Del Roberts, thank you for coming. Class of 2021 for us. Jose Medina, also in the 2021 class. Thank you very much. And Virginia Blumenthal, class of 2022. Riverside Poly is now in its 136 years of existence, and the history and traditions are unmatching. The people and the stories displayed on the wall are just a small example of how special this school is. When the decision was made to start this program, it was to honor our past while showing our current students the endless possibilities and opportunities that are in front of them. Over the past 3 years, we have watched our students read these plaques, and for some, set goals to one day sit here and be inducted onto this wall. As we read each bio of our inductees and honor their work, we also show our students the path created by others' dedication and to making their dedication to making a difference in this world. We congratulate the 7 new inductees that'll be going up tonight. It is my honor to announce that Riverside Poly High School class of 2023 inductees. You'll see over on the wall first, our first inductee tonight we're going to go through, but going in the order of their graduating class. From the class of 42, Mr. Oscar Medina. From the class of 1946, actually it was 48, started here in 46, David R. Scott. From the class of 1964, Bobby Bonds. From the class of 1982, Holly Mitchell. The class of 1985, Dr. Sean Ginwright. The class of 1997, Mr. Bobby Kim. And then finally, from the class of 1998, Mr. Alan Yang. We'll kick things off tonight. The way tonight's ceremony will work is I will read the inscription that's on the plaques, and then I'll ask the inductee to come up and share with me as we unveil their plaque, and then they'll have an opportunity to say a few words. We do have a couple that are still arriving tonight, so we still hope to see a couple more coming. I know Holly Mitchell's on her way, and Bobby Kim said he's on his way as well, but we need to get things going. We will start with two inductees that were not able to attend tonight. First, Dr. Sean Ginwright from the class of 1985. Dr. Sean Ginwright is the Jerome T. Murphy Professor of Practice at Harvard Graduate School of Education. His groundbreaking work on trauma, healing, and the empowerment of African American youth has earned him a reputation as an innovator, provocateur, and thought leader in the field of education. Dr. Ginwright's vision is rooted in his extensive experience working directly with young people in urban communities, from grassroots initiatives to serving as the chairman of the board of a $5 billion foundation. He has consistently demonstrated his passion for empowering marginalized youth. Dr. Ginwright's research has been instrumental in reshaping the discourse surrounding youth development, his introduction of the concept of healing-centered engagement, and in 2018 has revolutionized the field, providing an asset-based approach to addressing youth trauma and fostering resilience. His work has been cited in the New York Times, and he is a highly sought-after speaker on topics ranging from civic engagement and youth activism to the transformational power of healing. A notable author, Dr. Ginwright has written numerous highly acclaimed books, including The Four Pivots, Reimaging Justice, Reimaging Ourselves, Hope and Healing in Urban Education, How Urban Activists and Teachers Are Reclaiming Matters of the Heart, Black Youth Rising Activism and Radical Healing in Urban America, and Black School Afrocentric Reform of Urban Youth. Dr. Sean Ginwright resides between Boston, Massachusetts and Oakland, California, and continues to drive transformative change in education. His relentless dedication to empowering marginalized youth and creating inclusive spaces for healing and growth is truly inspiring. To learn more about his impactful work, please visit www.seanginwright.com. Ladies and gentlemen, from the class of 1985, Dr. Sean Ginwright. Here we go. Our next inductee, David R. Scott, Riverside Poly High School, 1946 through 1948. David Randolph Scott is an American retired test pilot and NASA astronaut who was the 7th person to walk on the moon. Selected as part of the 3rd group of astronauts in 1963, Scott flew to space 3 times and commanded Apollo 15, the 4th lunar landing. Before becoming an astronaut, Scott graduated from the United States Military Academy at West Point and joined the Air Force after serving as a fighter pilot in Europe. He graduated from the Air Force Experimental Test Pilot School and the Aerospace Research Pilot School. Scott retired from the Air Force in 1975 with the rank of colonel and more than 5,600 hours of logged flying time. Scott was born at Randolph Field in San Antonio, Texas. His father was Tom William Scott, a fighter pilot in the United States Army Air Corps, who would rise to the rank of Brigadier General. David was active in the Boy Scouts of America, achieving its second highest ranking, Life Scout. His father was eventually assigned to March Air Force Base in Riverside, California. David went on to attend Riverside Poly High School, where he joined the swimming team and set several state and local records. David Scott wanted to be appointed to the United States Military Academy at West Point, but lacked connections to secure one. He took a government civil service examination for competitive appointments and accepted a swimming scholarship to the University of Michigan, where he was an honor student in the engineering school. Scott still wanted to fly and wanted to be commissioned in the newly established United States Air Force. The Air Force Academy was founded in 1954, the year Scott graduated from West Point. An interim arrangement had been made whereby a quarter of West Point and United States Naval Academy graduates could volunteer to be commissioned as Air Force officers. Earning a Bachelor of Science degree in military science, Scott graduated 5th in his class of 633 and was commissioned in the Air Force. In applying to be part of the third group of astronauts in 1963, Scott intended only temporary detour from a mainstream military career. He expected to fly in space for a couple times and then return to the Air Force. He was accepted as one of the 14 Group 3 astronauts later that year. Scott was deemed to have performed his duties well, and on April 10, 1969, was named backup commander of Apollo 12. His status as backup commander of the next flight allowed him to sit in the mission control room as Apollo 11 with his old crewmate, Neil Armstrong, in command landed on the moon. Apollo 15 launched from Kennedy Space Center on July 6, 1971. The outward flight to the moon's orbit saw only minor difficulties, and the mission entered a lunar orbit without incident. The descent to the moon by the LM Falcon and Scott and Irwin aboard took place on the late afternoon of July 30th, with Scott as commander, and Apollo 15 safely returned to Earth on August 7, 1971. Ladies and gentlemen, David R. Scott. Next, Bobby Bonds, class of 1964. Born March 15, 1946 in Riverside, California, Bobby Lee Bonds was best known for his rare combination of speed and power. He stole 30 or more bases and hit 30 or more home runs in the same season 5 times. Until then, the feat had only been accomplished 4 times in baseball history. He just missed becoming the first member of the 40-40 Club in 1973 when he stole 43 bases and hit 39 home runs. Bobby and his son Barry are the only players who have hit more than 300 home runs and stole more than 400 bases in their career. Bobby spent his childhood riding bikes, swimming, and playing baseball with his friends. He also worked for whatever money he got. He caddied at local golf courses, helped at his father's construction site, and picked up cans and bottles for deposits. About his youth, Bonds said, "I wouldn't want to change a thing." It wasn't long before Bobby's athletic ability stood out. His Little League coach once said when he was 12, he averaged a homer a game for me. He was stronger than anyone, faster than anyone, more powerful than anyone. While at Riverside Poly High School, Bonds not only excelled at baseball, but also football and track. In football, he once scored 6 touchdowns in a game. In track, he ran the 100-yard dash in 9.5 seconds and became the state long jump champion by jumping 25 feet 3 inches. Bobby's parents were Robert and Elizabeth. He had 2 older brothers, Robert Jr., David, and an older sister, Rosie, who were all excellent athletes. In 1964, Bobby graduated from Riverside Poly High School. Later that summer, he signed with the San Francisco Giants. In 1965, Bonds started at the Class A level, playing for Lexington of the Western Carolina League. He led the league in runs scored, tied for second in home runs, and finished 4th in batting average. He was promoted to the San Francisco Giants on June 25, 1968. In his first major league game, Bonds hit a grand slam. It was the first time a player had done this since 1898. He finished his career with a lifetime batting average of 268 with 332 home runs and 1,024 RBIs while stealing 461 bases. Bonds married Patricia Howard in 1963. They had 3 sons, Barry, Rick, and Bobby Jr. Barry holds the major league record for career home runs in a single season, and career walks. He won the National League Most Valuable Player 7 times. As a result, Barry is considered one of the greatest players of all time. And Bobby Jr. also played professional baseball for 11 years. Ladies and gentlemen, from the class of 1964, and please welcome Pat Bonds to join us at the wall. Next, Holly J. Mitchell, class of 1982. Holly J. Mitchell currently serves on the Los Angeles County Board of Supervisors and is honored to represent the 2 million residents of Los Angeles County's 2nd District, including 12 cities and dozens of unincorporated communities and neighborhoods. Since being elected to the Board of Supervisors in 2020, Mitchell has made poverty alleviation a countywide priority and has anchored an equitable recovery plan for the health and economic pandemic caused by COVID-19. Before serving on the first all-women-led Board of Supervisors in the history of LA County, Mitchell served for a decade in the California Legislature as a representative for the 54th Assembly District and 30th Senate District. During her tenure, she passed over 100 bills, including the landmark anti-hair discrimination law, the Crown Act, making California the first in the nation to pass this law ending hair discrimination. She was recognized by Oprah Winfrey as a 2020 visionary and was featured in the February 2020 issue of O Magazine. Mitchell became the first African American to serve as chair of the Senate Budget and Fiscal Review Committee. Under her guidance, she helped the state of California successfully build its financial reserves with the passage of 3 consecutive state budgets, each totaling over $200 billion. Early in her career, Mitchell has transformative leadership opportunities serving as Coro Foundation Fellow, a legislative advocate for California's experience in poverty at the Western Center on Law and Poverty, and working for pioneering legislative leaders like the Honorable Diane Watson. Before running for public office, Mitchell led Crystal Stairs for 9 years, California's largest nonprofit dedicated to child and family development. As CEO, she fought for low-income families across Los Angeles County to gain access to child care and poverty prevention resources. Supervisor Mitchell was awarded an honorary doctorate of Humane Letters from Charles Drew University and is a proud UC Riverside Highlander and a proud Polly Bear. Ladies and gentlemen, from the class of 1982, Holly J. Mitchell.
Thank you very much. Thank you. All right. Sure.
I could hold those for you.
Okay. Thank you. Hey, Polly Bears. And look all of the bears. I know this is amazing. I can't believe you all came out. You know, high school for some of us was a rough 4 years. And I walk on this campus that I do not recognize. The campus is stunning. I guess since I graduated 40 years ago, I shouldn't expect it to look the same. But what is special to me about coming back here were the relationships that I still have. It's the people I met. It is Dale Roberts, who helped us understand what leadership could and should look like. It was Dale Roberts who took me to Sacramento for the first time and sent me a picture this past year, my first picture in front of the Capitol, and then I spent a career there making laws. So Poly will always hold a very special place in my heart. High school is when we kind of come into ourselves. And it's the good and the bad and all of that mixed in together. And so I want to thank all of you for coming out and being a part of my life. I want to thank Riverside and Poly High School for creating opportunities for me that at the time I may not have truly valued, but you know, hindsight is 20/20. Looking back, I am clear about what my experience here, the teaching staff, the extracurricular opportunities, and just spending my middle school and high school years in Riverside, what that meant for me and my future. So thank you. When I got the letter, I was blown away, and I deeply appreciate Poly High School including me in the Bears of Distinction as a non-athlete. That's a big deal. Thank you all. Thank you very much. I'm deeply honored. I appreciate you.
Thank you. Next, from the class of 1998, Mr. Alan Yang. Alan Yang is a writer, director, and producer. He is the co-creator, executive producer, and director of the Netflix series Master of None. For the episode entitled Parents, based in part on his personal experiences, he received the Emmy Award for Best Writing in a Comedy Series, becoming the first Asian American recipient of the award. Master of None has been nominated for 12 Emmys and 3 Golden Globes and was the recipient of the Peabody Award, 2 AFI Awards, and the Critics' Choice Award for Best Comedy. Yang is also the co-creator, executive producer, and director of Apple TV Plus series Loot, starring Maya Rudolph. He served as executive producer alongside, and I hope I get some of these names right, Kumail Nanjiani? Did I get close? All right. Emily V. Gordon, Cian Heder, and Lee Eisenberg for the BAFTA and Independent Spirit Award nominated half-hour anthology series Little America for Apple TV Plus. His Amazon Prime show Forever, starring Maya Rudolph, Fred Armisen, and Catherine Keener, premiered in fall 2018 and received the nomination for the WGA Award. Yang is the writer, director, and producer of the Netflix film Tiger Tail, a drama based on his father's upbringing in Taiwan. Tiger Tail was named to Rolling Stone and IndieWire's Best Films of 2020 list. Yang also directed the music video of Jay-Z's Moonlight, starring Tessa Thompson, Lakeith Stanfield, Tiffany Haddish, and Jared Carmichael and Issa Rae. Previously, Yang was a writer and co-executive producer and director for The Good Place and Parks and Recreation, for which he was nominated for an Emmy in 2015. He can also be seen on screen in episodes of Parks and Recreation, playing bass in Mouse Rat, the rock band fronted by Andy Dwyer, played by Chris Pratt. Yang attended Harvard University and graduated magna cum laude with a degree in biology. Ladies and gentlemen, from the class of 1998, Mr. Alan Yang.
Thank you so much. I'll make it quick. I know we were all sitting here for a while. I love that Bobby flew in from Oregon and came, so thank you so much for coming, Bobby. Really, really shout out to you.
For you.
Yeah, I know. I came for you, so love is real. Thank you so much to the administration, the faculty, everyone at Poly High. Thanks to Principal Hanson for this honor. It's really incredible. Anyone who knows me knows I like to joke about feeling like the luckiest guy in the world, but I really think that's true. I love my family, I love my fiance, and I'm fortunate enough to get to love what I do for a living. And sometimes when you get older, you think about what brought you to the place you were. And I used to have a lot of ideas about that. I used to think it was your hard work and your determination and a little bit of your talent, and maybe it's a little bit of all of those things. But the more I think about it now, the more I realize one of the things that set me apart and got me to where I was, I think, is just the willingness to listen and communicate with a large range of different kinds of people. And what I mean by that is, when you're on a film set and you're setting up a shot, here's a list of people you might have to talk to. The studio executive, the producer, the cinematographer, the production designer, the writer, the camera person, the props person, hair and makeup, the wardrobe people. You get my idea. And that's even before you even talk to the actors. Talking to actors should be a job of its own. Like, I should know. My fiance is an actor, so we're really doing it there. But when I think about it, where did I learn that sort of willingness? And I think it was really at this high school, because I got to go to a fancy college and that was nice, but coming to Riverside Poly High School, I got to learn to talk to a lot of different kinds of people. Because here's a list of people who I would talk to at lunch here on a normal day. I would talk to skateboarders, I would talk to football players, I would talk to cheerleaders, I would talk to black kids, Latino kids, Asian kids, white kids, all kinds of kids, mock trial kids, I see some here right now, academic decathletes, working class kids. So basically, what I'm saying is, Poly High taught me that not everyone in the world is just like you. And I think that's a really important lesson to learn, and I think it really, really helped me get to where I am today. So thank you, Poly High. And before I go, I just want to shout out one very special person, and that's my mom. My mom's, wave right there, Mom. Say hi to everyone, because without her, I wouldn't be up here. And she supported me and pushed me and held me to a high standard, but also loved and supported me every day, and she still does that now. She's actually a high school teacher, she still substitutes, so really she should be up on this wall because she has the most important job in the world. I really believe that, because no one gets anywhere without people supporting you, and that goes for Ms. Blumenthal as well, who supported me when I was here. So thank you to Mom. Not only would I not be here without you, I wouldn't be anywhere. So I love you, thank you so much. Thank you, everybody. I'm sorry I didn't write more jokes for this speech. I promise if you meet me in person, I'm just a tiny bit funnier. So we'll talk afterwards. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you.
Mom, I'm always looking for good subs if you want to leave your information. Next, from the class of 1942, William Oscar Medina. William Oscar Medina was born September 19, 1924 in Riverside, California. He attended public schools in Riverside and graduated from Riverside Polytechnic High School in 1942. Oscar served in the U.S. Army, honorably discharged in 1947. After leaving the military, he worked as an aircraft mechanic at Norton Air Force Base in San Bernardino, California. In 1963, he left his job at Norton and opened Zacateca's Cafe with his wife, Josefina Medina. He retired from the restaurant business in the mid-'80s. You can give a round of applause for that. We sure like it here. Oscar has always been active in the community, and at a young age, he volunteered at Riverside Community Settlement House, mentoring neighborhood children and helping them stay out of trouble. As a business owner, Oscar used his voice to bring attention to problems facing Riverside's east side. This led to his appointment to Riverside Parks and Recreation Commission in the late 1960s. Recognizing the need for electing Mexican Americans to elected office, he helped John Sotelo win a seat in Riverside City Council in 1963. And Mr. Sotelo is on our board, was the class of 2022 last year. An avid sportsman, Oscar played softball. He played for the East Side Merchants in the 1940s At this time, Mexican-American leagues were popular in Southern California, and the games drew large crowds. He also boxed, a favorite sport among Mexican-American youths, while growing up. Although an amateur, he fought in the Olympic Auditorium in Los Angeles. Like many young men of his generation, he learned to play golf at Victoria Country Club in Riverside, which allowed caddies to play on certain days. He learned to love the game and played until his late 50s. Throughout his life, Oscar has dedicated himself to his community and to promoting sports athletics in Riverside. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the family of Oscar Medina, class of 1942.
Hello everybody, good meeting. My name is Jonathan Medina. I am the grandson of Oscar Medina, third generation. Thank you, thank you. It is an honor being up here. I am myself a Poly graduate, class of 2016. So it is great seeing everybody here. Thank you. And just wanted to say that this is an honor, my grandpa being here. I know my family and I are very proud. I just wish he was here to see it. Not only is he up with the greatest Bears and Poly's history, but we also be hitting our 60th anniversary for Zacatecas Cafe this coming November, so we got that going on as well. Yeah, thank you. But all of his achievements and success wouldn't have been done, I believe, without my grandma, Josefina Medina, who made sure he put him in line, put him in check, and he was doing his job. But thank you, everybody. Thank you, Principal Hanson, having Grandpa Oscar here. Like I said, I know we're very proud of him, and his legacy will live on. Thank you.
Our final inductee of the night, Mr. Bobby Kim from the class of 1997. Bobby Kim, aka Bobby Hundreds, was born on March 27, 1980 in Baltimore, Maryland, and was raised in Riverside, California. From an early age, Bobby drew cartoons, wrote short stories, shot photography of skateboarding and punk shows, and was interested in subculture and style. He graduated from Riverside Polytechnic High School in 1997. He then attended the University of California, San Diego, where he studied communication, theater, computing in the arts, and psychology. Later, Bobby studied law at Loyola Law School, where his dying mentor, Abe, said, "You're going to be an excellent lawyer, and you're one of the best interns I've ever had, but you should never do this. You're not passionate about this," he added. "Do you want to be 40 years old one day and wake up doing something you didn't truly love?" Instead, Bobby Kim and his classmate Ben Shanisvar founded The Hundreds in 2003, a global streetwear brand inspired by California culture, including hip-hop, punk, surfing, and skateboarding. Also, The Hundreds references their community, emphasizing the brand's ethos of people over product. During an interview, Kim said, "We started in 2003, and I was really inspired by a lot of New York brands in the late 90s. Bobby later added, "But I wanted to do that in LA." Today, The Hundreds is stocked worldwide, including its flagship store in Los Angeles. Celebrating 20 years, the brand is known for collaborating with such names as Adidas, Disney, Grateful Dead, Eastpak, Tapatio, Pokemon, and Oakley. The Hundreds has been worn by personalities like Frank Ocean, Jonah Hill, Jay-Z, and Travis Scott. Bobby Kim is also the best-selling author of his memoir, This Is Not a T-Shirt, and NFTs Are a Scam, and produces the annual Family Style Food Festival in Los Angeles, the only event of its kind that marries food and fashion. Ladies and gentlemen, from the class of 1997, Bobby Kim.
Thank you. Ready, one. Should I say something?
Absolutely.
Okay, first of all, you don't know how hard it is to go to school when Alan Yang is in the school with you. And I was so excited. Of course I'm gonna follow him up on this speech. It was insane. Going to school with Alan Yang was crazy. Like, he was just eclipsing everyone here, as you can imagine. And it's also happened everywhere I've gone in life. Even I'm out in LA, and this fool still followed me to LA, and it's just like, everyone's talking about Alan Yang. And then I was just like, oh, they're gonna give me an award at Poly. And I'm like, who else? And they're like, we're talking to this guy, Alan Yang. And I'm like, Alan Yang. Alan Yang. Just like I was here, I didn't do my homework, and I was late showing up, so I don't have much of a speech. And then one thing, we drove 3 hours from LA. Like, I just drove. Oh, did you? We should have all taken a bus. We should have all taken caravan together. That was an insane drive. I saw parts of LA I'd never seen before. They were making, the Waze was having me going, yes. And on the way, my son Barrett in the back seat, he said, Dad, should I stay in school? Do I have to stay in school? And I was like, oh. And so my wife and I, we this was a teachable moment. So we started talking about the importance of persevering, of committing to school, your education. And then he just had this confused look on his face, and he said, no, what I'm asking is, while you're talking up there, do I have to hang out? Can I walk around? I don't really want to listen to you. And I was just like, oh, got it. So, speaking of my sons, going to school here was really profound for me. I've made a career out of thinking about what's on young people's minds and what they're going through and what their lives are like every single day. And, you know, a lot of people have thoughts in high school, whether it was good or bad, or whether they were, you know, had troubling times, or whether it was a struggle. For me, it was beautiful. You know, all of it was very meaningful. It was 4 years of my life, but I'm now 43 years old, which is kind of insane. And it's continued to stay with me all the way through. You know, the faculty didn't necessarily love me here. I have to tell an anecdote. Somehow they let me do the announcements every day. I was the one who did the Pledge of Allegiance, and on April Fool's, I got on the microphone and I said that the principal had gotten fired that day. And I didn't run this by anybody. I just decided to do it. And then the faculty put forward this petition to have me expelled from the school. But the students came forward and they defended me. They had my back. And so I always had the students' back. And that's just how it's been ever since then. I've always thought about young people. My heart's been with teenagers, with adolescents. And so I built a brand around that, and I continue to do that. I continue to write for them. And I just think, you know, schools, they provide so much as far as education goes, as far as just emotional and spiritual growth. And I think there's also something to, you know, preserving this moment of our lives when we're really coming into our own. And that's really, you know, so much of that is who I've maintained and who I've continued to be. And I feel like many of you still feel like who you were if you went to school here or wherever you did go to school. This is such a part of your identity. So if you work within this system, within this district or this school, I just have a really grand thank you for you. Just true appreciation. It's never said enough. I wish, you know, there was a time when I tried to go through and try to hit up all my teachers here, and I couldn't find them all just to say thanks. You know, even the ones who taught me how to write, you know, that's how I wrote a best-selling book, was because of the education I got here from writing. But the work is so incredibly important and profound. You never get your roses. Teachers, administration, just people who work in school districts, you never get enough. And so this is my small modicum of appreciation, dose of thank you. So thank you.
You got it?
Thank you.
That April 1st thing is information I could have used yesterday. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you again for attending tonight. Inductees, if we could come together and get a picture together on the wall. We keep that as part of a tradition as well. We want to thank you for coming. This is very important to us. Capturing the history of the school is very important to us. You'll always be Poly Bears. You're always welcome here. Thank you again. If you are interested, anybody that hasn't been here in a while, we've been more than happy to give you a tour and show you around. But if not, enjoy your evening and thank you very much.
Since you're not by your flag, this is what we're going to do. We need the ladies in the middle. Yeah. So the honor to the ladies. Oh, in the middle? Wasn't there one more for you guys? Wasn't there one more? Yeah. Yeah, see, it was just five. Everybody else fine. Okay, got you. Got it. Okay.
Well, there, everybody else go first, and I'll be back.